2% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll. So let's hop into today's video. I'm gonna be doing a reaction to Damion Porter on Inside Story with Damion Porter, talking about a rapper who was from his section known as Treyway 6K being removed from the prison yard. Now, this story has been bubbling a day or two, and I specifically waited for Damion Porter to come out with his story to see if he was going to do one, because I felt that by him being from that particular area, he would speak about the situation truthfully, also a little bit delicately, and I just wanted to see if he was going to do one. He did, and let's get into it.
Well, indeed, I found out what really happened with Treyway 6K, the rapper from A. Trey Hoover, who was indeed stabbed on the prison yard. Now, there's been a bit of misinformation put out there, and I reacted to the video myself yesterday of C-Star and Baby B Braves put it out there, or C-Star anyway, from Rolling 40s, saying that Lil Porky from 107 Hoover had got on Treyway. Now, let me clear a couple things up. It is true that Porky and Treyway 6K had gotten into an altercation, but this was some time back. This situation that just transpired is a bit different. Myself, I was wondering, how did C-Star get Treyway 6K's hot pot in his cell that he was flossing? You know, these dudes think that all of this stuff is a game, and everyone is making content out of this, including myself. I can't justify my content other than saying that my hope is to clear up a couple of things that's been put out there. But
now, for those of you guys who may not know what he's talking about, initially you had C-Star talking to B Braves. C-Star is telling B Braves that Treyway just got beat up and removed from the yard, and that he even has his hot pot. The hot pot is basically an item that in prison you use to warm up water, cook food, make hot coffee, so on and so forth, right? He even read off the man's CDC number and the name, or at least the name that was on the hot pot. Now, to me, first thing that came to mind was that was definitely different, because a lot of times when a particular organization or crew within the blacks will discipline one of their homies, they whoop him and may send him on his way. But if they taking his property and passing out his property, then that just shows that this dude is no longer wanted with that collective. He is no good. He is done for. And a lot of times it's an indication of the individual being considered a snitch, right? But for them to pass out his hot pot to people outside of the car was really unusual, right? And sometimes, and I think I seen somewhere in a comment section, somebody left and said he looked up the information and it was not the name of Treyway. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was not a hot pot that he had in the cell. A lot of times individuals, I have a homie say he leaves, he's going home. He says, hey, chill here, man. You can have my hot pot. You can have my radio. So my name is not going to be on the bottom of the hot pot because it's not mine. So that necessarily is not a indication that it was not the hot pot he was using in his cell.
Not to defend anyone or any of that, and I want to be careful about what I say, but at the same time, I don't want to make content and not bring you the whole story and withhold some of the information. So I'm in a catch-22, obviously. Let me say this. Treyway 6K was on the prison yard, and he went to the hole. for a couple of months. Now, there are different stories as to why he went to the hole. That's neither here nor there, really, as far as I'm concerned. He went to the hole, and when he went to the hole, he left his phone on the yard. His cell phone that you're not supposed to have there in prison anyway. Left it with one of the homies, if you will, or they ended up with the phone. Now, when he comes back from the hole after 2 months or so of being in the hole, of course, he's inquiring about his phone. This sort of thing happens all of the time. The individual that had his phone claimed that the police had taken the phone. He no longer had the phone. This was not true. He still had the phone.
Let me pause right there. Now, so for individuals out there who may be wondering, of course, cell phones are illegal in prison, but you do have cell phones floating around the yard. Now, just say you are functioning with a particular collective, and you may have 15 homies in that collective. Maybe 2 or 3 of them may have cell phones. Cell phones are extremely expensive because they are sought after items. So I have seen people, let the cell phones bring the worst out in them, even though now in these days, they have tablets. They didn't have those in my days, but just still being able to, and the tablets do not have any social media technology. A capability. So you can't hop on a tablet and get on YouTube. You can't watch certain type of movies people like to watch in prison. You can't do any of those things, right? And the phone calls are only, now the phone calls are only 15 minutes on the tablet and on the phone when back in my day. So having a cell phone, being able to sit up, talk all night to your female, search for females or do whatever is a very, very sought after thing. And, honestly, it becomes addicting. And that's why sometimes people will let this cell phone bring out another side with them, sometimes even with their own homies. I've seen this happen over and over and over again.
So another reason why gangs and gang banging is not where it's at. You have a strong individual, reputable individual, and they're stealing from them, taking his stuff and lying about it, etc. No fealty, no loyalty in this here game.
I've definitely seen that,
particularly there in prison, but anywhere. Nevertheless, nothing was really done about that situation. Treyway 6K goes in the cell with a dude from Edgemont Criminals. Now, who was in the Edgemont Criminals are allies, get along. They too are criminals. And whatever transpired inside of the cell, I'm not going to get too deep into the details of that. I wasn't there. Fortunately, I'm no longer in prison. And so who knows what really went on inside of that cell other than the 2 individuals that were in there. Everything else would just be conjecture on my part, as it has been on others. Whatever transpired inside of the cell, Treyway, the story has it, swung the thing first on the dude from Edgemont Criminal. Bam, got off on him with the blammer, hit him. Dude from Edgemont takes control of the situation. Treyway, he got off first, but he was not the last to get off because old boy either took his weapon or he had his own weapon or both. And he began to hit Treyway a little bit, hit him up.
Now, I know at times you'll have individuals watch my content that's not from the United States or may not be familiar with the California prison terminology. So when he says Treyway had the blammer, yes, he is talking about a weapon. He's talking about a knife. And so just to help you follow along in case you couldn't.
Treyway was clearly losing that battle and began to scream a little bit, if you will, just instinctually or whatever the case. And they're fighting for his life and now losing the battle that he perhaps initiated. He begins to scream. The police are indeed alerted, get to the cell, and Treyway is, coming out of the cell and leaking or what have you.
Now, that's no bueno. That's no good whatsoever, right? Some people may feel, well, man, the dude is in there getting stabbed and assaulted with a weapon. So why is his screaming frowned upon? Well, it's just not a activity or action that is seen, that is becoming of a gang member, regardless of what gang you're from, right? Especially, and it doesn't even matter if you initiated the stabbing or whatever the case may be. Just basically that, you're screaming, you're hollering, you are, first and foremost, you are alerting the police, right? And that's just no good. And then, basically it comes with the territory. Sometimes you knew what you signed up for. You have to take these type of assaults like a gang member. And so it's a bad look.
Having been hit up, and when he's leaving the yard or about to leave the yard, heading to medical, wherever, some individuals hit him up and say, what's up, bro? What's going on? Where you going? What's up, man? You tripping? Like, go back to the cell or whatever. And why was you screaming or whatever? And supposedly Treyway yelled back or said back to these individuals, man, he was in there stabbing me. What was I supposed to do? Let him kill me in there trying to kill me. I'm supposed to just let him kill me? I started screaming because he's trying to kill me. Well,
that's horrendous right there, because individuals who are not familiar with the term dry snitching, he just dry snitched. So dry snitching is pretty much this: you are pretty much making a statement without making a statement. You have said this in front of the administration. So even now, if you get back there and you refuse to make a statement, they can almost somewhat piece together what has happened because of this statement. So you have dry snitched. You have informed without actually informing. Now, of course, if you are in the cell fighting somebody and you're stabbed, of course, it's going to obviously be that your cellie had to do it. But making a statement now to where the police can put this in reports, they can testify, it's basically no good. You have dry snitched, and dry snitched is really the first cousin of snitching. So it's just a horrible look. Now, you've done this in front of other individuals, and so you were supposed to be quiet about the situation, go to the hole, and take it like that.
That's the wrong answer, and that's the wrong thing to do.
100%.
So once you get stabbed up and now you're leaving the yard, you are a victim, or you are portrayed as the victim. Someone has to be the victim. And if you take that role, then you're in trouble. Your career is pretty much over from that point on.
Without a doubt.
If your response is, what was I supposed to do? So then you're admitting that you yelled to the police, that you yelled for help, that you basically dry snitched, that you called the police, you called for help. This, of course, is against the rules and the protocols as it relates to the politics there in prison on any level of a yard, particularly a level 4 yard. And thus, when Treyway then transferred to another prison, this is the incident that just happened now, recently.
Now, what I want to say is this. I haven't seen this video, right? And the reason I wanted to wait for him is for 2 reasons. For one, he's from that particular section, and I believe he would have inside information. Also, we are of the same era. I believe I may be older than him, but we are from the same era, right? And so in situations like this, right, when this dude is assaulted at this other prison, you'll have individuals there who get on phones, whether it's cell phones or the state phone, and they are talking to individuals from their hood, right? And they're relaying this type of information. Even back in my day, you may have an individual who, in the hood, a female or a homie or whatever, he pretty much keeps in touch with everybody that's locked up. So when this information, when things like this happen, they're calling back to the hood and they're letting their homies know, right? And so, and this is specifically for the individuals who say that blacks have no politics or so on and so forth, right? Within their section, things are going to be handled, right? Because even though all the blacks don't focus as one, you have individual, their sections, of course, are going to be smaller than the organizations who all focus under the same or function under the same structure. So by these smaller situations, these smaller structures, individuals at times, of course, it's going to be easier to deal with their own, because this is dude is from he's from a particular group that knows, and they're going to call back home. Now, you may have an individual hit the yard, right? He may be from, let's just say this dude is from a place in California where he doesn't gangbang. So you're gonna, when he hits the yard, you're gonna have dudes from the Hoovers, from the Comptons, from the IEs, or wherever. They're not gonna feel that it's their obligation to ask this dude where he's from, what he's in jail for, so on and so forth, because he doesn't function with them. And so it's not gonna be their obligation to clean it up. And so sometimes you do have individuals who will slip through the cracks because of situations like these. But, you know, it does rub me the wrong way when I hear people try to say that blacks don't have politics and they don't function and handle their business, because that's very far from the truth.
He transferred to another prison because he got stabbed in this prison, in a cell with the dude from Edgemont, criminals. So he transferred to another prison. But again, essentially, you're transferring essentially as the victim, because it's like they're getting rid of you for your safety, because they know that you just got stabbed up and you were yelling and screaming about being stabbed up, and then said in front of the police, essentially, what was I supposed to do? Let them kill me? And of course, other people are going to look at this as it relates to prison as a violation. And now they're waiting on you to hit the yard. Any other yard, they waiting on you to hit the yard because you're in big trouble. And that's what happened. He transferred and he hit another prison yard. And when he hit the other prison yard, apparently he already knew that his days were numbered, that as soon as he got off of the bus, he might as well get off first, because they're about to get off on him because of what just happened in the other prison. Him being stabbed, that's one thing, but then calling the police and screaming and saying whatever you said, allegedly, supposedly in front of the police. He knew, as anyone would know that's in prison and understands the politics as it relates to these prison yards, you know that they're about to attack you, period. Whatever yard you go to, it's a small world inside a prison. Everyone communicates. Before you even get off the bus, people know what happened, know what you're there for, what prison you came from, what you did in the other prison, all of that stuff, bro. Trust me, before you even get off of the bus.
And that's what I just said earlier, you know, before you even land at this next prison, the news has already beat you there, especially with the advancement of technology now as it relates to prison. You have individuals in there who have tablets. I think it's important to say that the phone calls are free now. They're free. So even if you don't have a cell phone, being able to, you know, call and relay certain type of information that your hood may feel is valuable, and then they will, you know, relay that to the other individuals who from your particular section who are in other prisons. And so when you wind up at a prison now, it's bad news. It's cookies. They not hating on you. They waiting on you.
So everyone already knew before Treyway even got off of the bus what had happened in the other prison, that he had been stabbed, screaming, yelled, etc. They knew it pretty much the same day that it happened, even though they were in another prison. This is how the communication goes these days. So they were waiting on him when he got off of the bus to indeed attack him and remove him from the yard. Treyway. Him having knowledge of this, just common sense dictating to him that this was a possibility. He got off of the bus and he got off first. Treyway got off the bus and bam, he hit a dude with the blammer. He did. He stabbed someone. He hit the dude first. Bam, he got off the bus because he already know they coming. And when he stabbed the dude, they did indeed come. They all flocked. They converged on Treyway, attacked him, hit him up. He was stabbed, beat up, all this, packed him out, and got him off of the yard.
Now, when he says he stabbed someone, I'm assuming he just didn't walk up and stab a random person. I'm assuming that someone from his respective set that he functions with, his collective, his car, approached him and asked him, "Hey, homie, what's going on with this, this situation. This is what we heard, so on and so forth. Who knows how the conversation went? Obviously, at some point, according to Damion, Treyway felt it was necessary to get violent and take off, before he was assaulted, so on and so forth. And so he got off. When he got off, other individuals ran up over there and handled their business. And keep in mind, like I said, the blacks function differently. So it wasn't a whole collective of blacks. It was just his particular section.
That's what happened. Now, I'm not going to get too much deeper into it right now, as far as, you can use your common sense, though. Is he still from Hoover? And does he have to go PC now? Is he on the PC? Or who stabbed him exactly and all of this? I do know who stabbed him. But that's neither here nor there. Because the point is, I know a couple of individuals that got jiggy, but it don't matter. It's a sad day. It's nothing to celebrate, bro. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to even insert my personal opinion. I'm just going to give you the information. That's what I'm here to do. Give you the information. That's what happened there. His phone was indeed, so it wasn't taken as, give me your phone, boy. It was left with someone, left on the yard when he went to the hole for a couple of months. When he came back, his phone was gone, or so they said. And things just went downhill from there. He had been in a few incidents already, like I said, got into it with Lil Porky and some other situations. These sort of things happen in prison over whatever.
So that's going to be about all I'm going to do to this reaction. If you want to watch this video in its entirety, go to Damion Porter's page, Inside Story with Damion Porter. I've seen this, unfortunately, play out in prison time and time and time again. You may be functioning with your collective. You may get into it here and there, get into it a couple of times with other individuals. Your homies may feel you're in the wrong. You may get into it with some of your homies. At some point in time, if you continue to cause trouble or they feel you're causing trouble, some of your homies may start, slowly just basically wanting to see you there because, not there because you're too problematic. Maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe it was, just having that. Like I said, I've seen cell phones bring out the worst in people who function with people having a cell phone, just the luxury of being able to have a cell phone, whatever reason, right? And so at some point in time, the organization that he functions with felt it was necessary to get this dude up off the yard. Once again, let me bounce back to, I just have to say, because I've been doing YouTube for about 5 years, and at times I see people, it seems like they get a kick out of taking shots at the blacks, saying the blacks do not handle their business, they don't politics, so on and so forth, but they have never functioned with the blacks. Here is a situation right here. The dude is saying, hey man, listen, this is what went down with this dude. This dude was removed. He was violently removed and sent on his way. Yet, people will still say the blacks don't get cracking. Anyway, man, this is a unfortunate reality of prison. And you could be chilling and hanging out with dudes in February. The same dudes might be stomping you and stabbing you in June, if you happen to run afoul of the CARS program. So anyway, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.